I don't know if these people haven't picked up on the message, but you F around, you're going to find out. All of these, bold libs, not that bold lib, but all these strong, independent liberals who are going to stand up and fight against what, again, the majority of the American people voted for, are all finding out. So USAID, we know, is the devil's purse. It was stealing all of our money, American taxpayers' money, and giving it to wild causes meant to, I don't know, destabilize the world in other nations. I don't exactly know the answer, but I know for a fact it wasn't doing what the U.S. taxpayers wanted them to do. Now the head inspector general for the USAID thought that he would defy Donald Trump. How do you think that went for him? Yeah, he was immediately fired. Trump fires USAID's inspector general after his office released a report critical of the administration. By the way, we'll be talking about this today live, 1 Eastern. I know I'm telling you about it, but I'm really trying to grow the show. Let's get up over 10,000 concurrent viewers by my birthday. Download the Rumble app. Follow the quartering over on Rumble. We're live every day at 1 Eastern. Or if you don't want to, subscribe to Quartercast here on YouTube and watch the show there. We have a lot of I have a huge celebration and giveaway planned for later in February, early March to get us that kind of push over 10,000. So you're going to want to be a part of that. We've got free computers and all sorts of stuff like that. So go subscribe to one of the two and tune in at 1 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Trump fires USAID Inspector General after his office released letter critical of him. The Inspector General at the U.S. Agency of the Internal Development, USAID, was fired a day after his office released a report detailing the negative impact of the Trump administration's dramatic downsizing of the agency, according to the letter obtained by NBC News. Now, he had released this letter basically being like, think of the kids. Think of the kids. All this food that we've bought, all these food for Somalia or Sudan or whatever, all the stuff that we've bought with American taxpayer dollars that they didn't want to, it's going to go spoil. You know what? Distribute it to the homeless in America. How about that? The Inspector General of the U.S. Agency was released. Paul Martin, who had been the USAID's Inspector General since 2023, was notified of his dismissal by email. On behalf of President Donald J. Trump, I'm writing to inform you that your position as Inspector General of the United States Agency for International Development is terminated effective immediately. Trent Morris, Deputy Director of the Office of the Presidential Personnel, informed Martin in an email obtained by NBC News, thank you for your service. I mean, this is bonkers. He fired a day after releasing a report critical of the impacts of Trump administration's dismantling his agency. Well, you know what? If you cared about the kids, if you cared about getting the food to the Sudan people and getting them their bottled water and this, that, and the other stuff, you should have done that. You shouldn't have been pissing away our money on, trans operas. The administration required under law to provide 30 days notice to Congress before firing an inspector general and provide a case-specific reason for getting rid of watchdogs. Martin had served as the inspector general since December of 2023, while President Donald Trump fired inspectors generals from more than a dozen federal agencies during his first week in office. The USAID watchdog had remained in place. An IG conducts investigations and audits into any potential malfeasance. Well, I mean, was he doing his job? Sorry, it tickled my throat there. Seems like he wasn't doing his job to me. That's what it seems like to me. Staff from the USAID Office of the Inspector General have also been informed that they no longer have access to their physical office space. Two sources familiar with the matter told CNN. Although the Trump administration closed the headquarters building of USAID in Washington last week, personnel at the watchdog's office had still been permitted to work in person in that same building until Tuesday. In a report Monday, the USAID Inspector General said that Trump's administration reduction of USAID personnel and its sweeping freezes of foreign assistance had made it difficult to track and respond to a potential misuse of $8.2 billion in U.S. taxpayer-funded humanitarian assistance. I didn't vote for that. I never agreed to that. I wasn't asked for that. And quite frankly, take that $8.2 billion and distribute it among U.S. citizens who need to go hungry. Fill every food bank in the country. Right? Fill every food bank in the country. And again, he's basically being like, well, but think of this, but get it out. You didn't do your job. You're the inspector general in charge of looking at fraud, and it was happening everywhere right under your face and at a shocking level. The Trump administration had moved aggressively to dismantle USAID in recent weeks, attempting to put thousands of direct hire USAID employees on leave and removing scores of contractors who work for the agency. Last Friday, a corrupt, in my opinion, federal judge temporarily blocked these plans and halted the accelerated removal of staffers from countries around the world. But wait a minute. What is that judge? Let's take a look at that judge, shall we? Should we see why maybe that judge we might have some questions about that judge? Just some questions. Right? Just some questions. How about this? Maybe it's just me, but there's room for improvement here. This is the federal employee retirement, are processed using paper by hand in old limestone mine in Pennsylvania. 700 plus mine workers operate 230 feet underground, 10,000 plus applications per month. I mean, pretty sure we could be more efficient here. But here, lawfare. The Obama-appointed judge that threatened the Trump administration with arrest if funding was not restored to USAID previously likened Trump's first term to civil war, and Jim Crow compared Trump to a tyrant in 2021 in footage uncovered by Natalie Winters.
So, what's happened over the last 4 years or so, and at other times in our country's history, going back to, the Civil War and Reconstruction and Jim Crow laws, the civil rights, and during the last 4 years, is that the values that we live by, the constitutional values that form the basis of our country, have been tested, and our institutions have been tested in ways that I don't think a lot of folks thought would survive. It got tested in the 1800s by a war, and we survived the war. Sometimes well and sometimes not so well, but that's for another story.
So the judge has TDS. Oh, and by the way, it was also found that another judge, I don't know if this is the same one, their wife was receiving funds. Here it is. The swamp is deep. One of the activist judges blocking Trump's agenda, Judge John Bates, happens to be married to the founder of USAID-funded NGO. So the judge abused his position of power as a judge to call in a specific favor, financial favor, for his wife. That's what it appears to me. I mean, it's so crazy to me. Is anybody else out there wondering, like, how the heck did we end up in a situation where, like, these judges are just raising their hands and being like, I'm corrupt. Hey, I'm corrupt. Oh, I got to be careful about the angle. Otherwise, AOC is going to have a meltdown. This is straight up and down. I'm corrupt. I'm corrupt, everybody. I mean, are you joking? Here's Elon Musk. There needs to be an immediate wave of judicial impeachment, not just one. Here's another corrupt judge, or this another report about the same judge. Let's look at a deeper file. Judge John Bates' wife gets funded by USAID. This is a serious conflict of interest since her funding relies on the Trump admin. Recall Bates is the judge who ordered the Trump admin to restore the website information on gender ideology and gender change operations. His wife, Carol Reese, is the founder of Hope for Children in Ethiopia and has been a very long-term recipient of millions of dollars from USAID. She's on the board of directors. Actually, she's the founder and president. And now this judge is abusing his power to protect his wife's slush fund. I mean, I don't really know. Here's where Hope for the Children says Carol Reese is the founder. She's the wife of Judge Bates. Carol's personal website mentions this foundation, except not by name. Gee, I wonder why. Hope for Children, ran by the judge's wife, has been funded by USAID long term. I'm not saying it's wrong, because the NGO does do good things, and I hope the funding stays. I don't. Let's take care of America first, and once we do, then we can worry about taking care of everybody else. And that is something that capitalism should take care of, not taxation. You know, Tom's Shoes should start, some shoe company should, start something for these people, whatever the case may be. I mean, this is a huge scandal. The deep state is real, and it's corrupting our institution. Judge John Bates should recuse himself from any case involving the Trump administration. But of course he's not going to do that. Just like the corrupt judges in New York on his hush money case and all this other kind of stuff. Right now, meanwhile, Senate is voting on Tulsi Gabbard. I hope she gets confirmed. She's probably the most difficult one. She's got the biggest uphill climb, but I'm hoping. Either way, this is a huge scandal that I couldn't be happier with Trump's first term, or second term, first month in office here, other than the Gaza thing, which I hope is just the art of the deal. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please do follow or subscribe to wherever you're watching it. And if you're interested or want to try, I would ask you to give our live show a try. Quartercast if you're a YouTube only person, link in the description. If you're willing to support free speech, give the Rumble app a try. Download Rumble, follow the quartering there. Hey, Tim Pool's over there now. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.